Okay, so listen, did you know that last year I wrote my first book? I know, I'm so excited about it. It was something that I had in mind, but I had no idea I would be doing it at the beginning of last year. And once I got into it, I was in full swing, and now we have a finished product. So the Get Corporate Clients Now book is now live and published on Amazon and soon to be everywhere where you can buy books. And this is my A to Z framework on how to get corporate contracts in your business. This was a labor of love. And so this is no fluff. This is everything that you need to know in order to get contracts in your business. And so not only do I have, the tactics and strategies, but I have stories. I'm telling all my business about opportunities that have failed me over the just crazy under a decade that I've been in this corporate selling space from my career to moving it into my business. And so I told those stories. And at the end of each chapter, I introduce you to my framework, which is more of mindset based, but it helps you be able to take direct action after each chapter and what you've learned. And so I'm especially excited about those. I think that from what I've seen with the readers who've gotten the book so far, I've seen them take out their whiteboards and go through the exercises and plan their activities. And I could not be more excited that people have had so much excitement to something that literally was my career and something that have I've been through the ups and the downs with, and now I see other people taking my learning and being able to do amazing things with it. So this is the basis of the curriculum for my programs, but also an opportunity for those who are not yet working with us directly to be able to understand the strategies and get corporate clients now. That's the whole point, right? So if you haven't grabbed your copy yet, it is available on Amazon. You'll find the link somewhere around this page, on my Facebook page, or wherever you may be watching this. Grab your copy. And then here's another thing I want you to do. Make sure you leave a review because I would love to hear what you take away from this book and allow it to be shared with other folks who could get this valuable information. All right. So I'll see you later. Make sure you grab a copy of Get Corporate Clients Now. Hey, hey, what's up, everybody? I hope that you have been having an amazing week. I'm so excited for us to be back together again for another episode. So, y'all know, if you don't know, I have been going a little deeper in my journey on how I'm sharing things with you all, with my clients, and even just leading myself through the times that we're in. And so, this is a season for me where I have recognized, and many other people in this whole space of transformation and coaching and guiding, mentoring, are also leaning to, and as well, is that the tactics and strategies are not enough. There are, and I know this for a fact, there are people who will only hear my voice, who will only get changed or freed by the things that they can get from me. And me trying to water that down into three tips to this or get a corporate contract like this and all the things is great, but it's not going to help the people who I know are assigned to me. And so that message has came to me many different times and I have fully accepted to step into it. And so although it says corporate contract strategist here, it's so important for you all to know that there's so much more to that to me in my expertise and what I stand for and what my values are. And I've mentioned this before, I believe, but I will say it again and continue to say it. The point of getting corporate contracts for me sharing it is not just me on here just sharing information with you guys and being, an encyclopedia. I don't think that that's of value. If we really think about it, even in that example, I don't even know what y'all go to today. Maybe these students just go and Google things. But if we think about my day and prior days before, we would go to encyclopedias or research books to know about particular topics, right? But if I think about the books that I read today that actually changed my life, it's not because they're full of facts, but they're full of wisdom. They're full of stories that unlock me to think a different way, that challenge me to pursue something that I may have put on the back burner. That's really what moves the needle. And so as I'm shifting the way that I approach my offers, my content, my interactions is not to stifle the wisdom that I have and not to dilute it by sharing tips and strategies and all of that as social media typically aligns to. And instead, really letting the guards off of everything that I have to serve and to be the voice to the person who can be changed only by me. So that's a little update and what you get and what we're talking about here. And we do have a topic that I'm going to speak about today, but hear me when I say there's so much more that I will be talking about and incorporating and talking about this idea of contracts because again, it's not just about how can you learn the strategies to do it, but this is how your business and life can change. One opportunity can put you in a completely different atmosphere in the matter of one yes. So it's not about how, oh, this is popular over here or let's do this. It's about being life changing. It's about being able to be impactful. One of my core values is being of service. I desire to attract, or I don't attract abundance because I already have it. I desire to continue to live in abundance so that my overflow can bless those around me from generation to generation. I want to work with people like that who have a true mission of why you're doing this. Yes, it sounds great. Yes, all the things, but what does it allow you to do? And as I mentioned, for me, it allows me to create more impact. It allows me to set people up to change their lives. It allows me to see clients of mine who have students in college or they're nearing retirement or they've been in careers that they don't like for them to see that they can make money on their own and not just little side hustle change, but their salary potentially in a deal. That's why I do this. And on a personal note for me, I believe that as the messenger or as the person who's been divinely assigned to do this, I benefit from it in more ways than one. I get to see and unearth some of the things that have been in my head, some of the experiences that have almost taken me out, get to be my story and testimony to help others. And then I say, you know what? I see why I went through that. So it becomes therapeutic for me and a way to break change for somebody else. So I just dove right in and got into that because I know and I've been looking at kind of how I've been developing my content and all the things and it's been great, but it's been very surface. And so we're going further. We're going to talk about additional topics. I'm not subscribing to the niche down and you can only talk about this because this season I believe is calling us to voices and not strategies. That just came to me. Voices and not strategies. That's what I believe. We've had enough of people trying to tell us the next steps to do everything. We need voices, people who are moving the missions forward, people who are not committed to surface level connections and really committed to breaking chains because the chains are real right now. So that's what you're going to be getting over here. And I am fine with if that's not your thing, if you just here to get 1, 2, 3 steps and free content here and there, that's great. I'm no longer going to be that person for you. I'm going to be the person to start calling people up to be who they're supposed to be. I've heard too many excuses. Y'all, if you could see the other side of how many people that I talk to, they're on these lives every week. They're trying to get every single thing. And then I'm like, hey, what are you doing to move forward? Nothing. That is not okay with me. I had to get into my community today. Like, y'all are too quiet. What are we doing right now? So if you're here in this community, if you are connected to me, if you are sitting here on these lives, getting a resource, activate. And I know we like to say, this little cutesy statement, oh, just get someone to work with. It doesn't have to be me. No, it should be me. If you're here, if you're getting value from this, if you are moving the needle, I know there are some people that's using the things that I've shared and they're getting results from it. If that's you, you should be working with me. If my voice is resonating with you, if it's causing you to think about things differently, if it's causing you to think about your business differently, and you're getting enlightened, you should be working with me. Why? Because That's just the beginning. Getting enlightened and getting the information and the knowledge and all of that is simply the beginning. We have to take steps and move forward. And I'm about seeing people move forward in this season. Okay, I got to get into the topic. So, my name is Kirsten Allen, for those who haven't met me. And I'm a woman of wisdom that is put here on this earth to be able to guide people through my pain, struggle, loneliness, isolation, just trying to figure out all the things. Being someone who's ambitious, who has climbed the ladder with tears in one hand and holding the ring by the other, to be able to show how there is an easier path, how there is freedom, how even as I was a child and I saw all of these people around me doing things they didn't want to do. And, I just, that time, I just knew I didn't want it to be me. I never saw myself guiding people through that. I just knew I had a different path. I knew that while they were doing this, I wanted to do this. But now I understand that I have a responsibility and assignment to guide people and show people how they can do it too. So that's me. I have this brilliant skill set, which is just one skill set in landing corporate contracts. I've written a book. You saw the commercial about it. We have programs and all the things about it. And so if you're new here, you'll be able to learn more about that, be able to engage with us and move forward in that space. But there's so much more to learn. There's so much more, not even to learn, there's so much more to do. There's so much work on the table that you need to be a part of. It's time to get moving. All right, so let's talk about today's topic. Now, I kind of put this out there. It just dropped to me like, are corporate contracts off the table? And I spoke about this in another live a little bit, but I want to dive into it more and in a different angle. So we've seen the headlines, and I'll be honest with you, I tune out a lot of social media, a lot of news. Even my family will send things that I do not look at because I don't want my brain taken off in a different place. I'm really working on keeping my gates closed at this season and tuning into my source, which is not the news. So with that being said, I've seen little things and, I've been doing my due diligence to make sure that I can lead myself and my communities correctly. And of course, there's headlines, this company isn't doing this, and, DEI and federal government and all those things. And so I've seen it, questions from my community as well as just in general, like, are these opportunities, even still out there? These programs are gone. What does that mean for us? Oh, should I even certify as a women business owner if, the government isn't recognizing these programs? And to all of that, I want to say, number one, no, corporate contracts are not off the table. Government contracts are not off the table. I've also been doing just my own research, again, as I mentioned, to be a good steward of the gift and make sure that I'm giving relevant information and timely information. And one of the things that I found from someone that I had a conversation with is she said, my business grew, in the previous administration. And so while government definitely changes policies and you have to make shifts and pivots, understand that no opportunities are off the table. There are still companies, and I'm in this. And so I want you guys to also understand who you are listening to. I'm not just saying things because I'm theorizing about them or all whatever. I'm a student of this game through and through. I'm researching, I'm having conversations with the people who actually make decisions. So I'm saying that because I know a lot of times the loudest person with all the opinions is giving you all the things that they're just half baked and thinking. Really analyze as you're listening and getting sources from this season, who is actually connected to the real people who make decisions and not just grandstanding, basically. So that's not a ding. That is helping us as a society be more discerning with what we choose to accept, because that's an epidemic right now. Anyway, see, I'm going off. Anyway, these opportunities are still out there. I was saying there is a company right now. There are still plenty of companies prioritizing diversity programs. Just because one big name said no, or a few big names said no, doesn't mean that that's all the opportunities. I still have my certifications. I'm still a part of these networks where there are billions of companies, some of which may not be the household names or the logos that we all know and love, but they got the same amount of money and they're connected to these organizations. So while the ones who pull out and say that they don't have the programs and all of that, great. Make more room for those who still are prioritizing it. And no, I'm not going to back out or pull out of those situations because of a federal program. Private companies, corporations do not have to operate based on what the government is doing. And as we see, there are influences. I'm not speaking above that or saying that those things don't exist because we've seen it. There are influences, but that's not the case for every single company. And I don't believe that's going to be the case for every company. I was having a conversation with a colleague, and he said that we're likely going to see some of these companies walk these things back because they recognize, especially the one, I'm not even going to call them out a name, but the big one where the African American demographic is definitely one of their prime client avatars. And so as they are pulling out, they're going to see a dip. And whether they're going to have to walk it right on back because they're going to have to recognize diversity, inclusion, all of those things drive their business. And so while, yes, it may sound good to align with the administration and all of that, when it comes down to the bottom line, they're going to feel it and have to walk it back. So I say that to say, stay the course in what you're supposed to be doing. Nothing is off the table. Stay the course. This is all going to regulate. We're going to pivot. We're going to do what we need to do, but we won't stop. Nothing stops. Nothing is off the table. Even as we think about government opportunities, we still can operate as a small business. We still have opportunities to be able to serve. And these are things that are literally from me being in the space and knowing what the conversations are like. The opportunity is still there. So I want you all to unplug, first of all, from the fear, from the half-baked opinions, from the social media prophets who want us to feel like certain things are in vain or not possible, or we shouldn't be doing this, or, all these things are going on. There's so much going on in our world. And they're meant to be distractions. They are meant to be distractions. The design of it is for you to say, oh, well, you know what? Since these programs went down, there's no need for me to do this anymore. That's what they want. They want us to bow out. They want us to not go after contracts, not go after RFPs so that they can give the money elsewhere. Why would we ever let that happen? We won't on my watch. We won't as long as I'm here to speak on this and guide people through it. We won't. As you are planning your business for this year, I would hope that you didn't take corporate contracts out of the picture or feel that it's further away from you. And if you did, I want to share something with you. As I mentioned, tides and seasons will change. Pivots will have to be made. When you have the right strategy, when you have someone who has not only the knowledge, but the access, the passion, the enthusiasm, and even the advocacy in your corner, you don't lose. And if you possess all those skills yourself, then you are right on the right path. But whatever of those skills that you don't have, and you know that you see this opportunity for yourself, it's a place that you want to be. I talk to people who are like, when I get this contract, I'm gonna be like, where are we traveling? I know for me, my son is going to private school in T-minus 6 months. I want to be able to land these opportunities so I can pay that private school bill off and that be nothing coming out of the monthly household. So these things mean more to me and to those that I serve. And that's how I know it's not a nice to have. It's a must have. Don't get distracted. Don't keep delaying. Many of you are still delaying. Again, I talk to so many people where they're like, oh, I'll get into this in a couple of months, or I'm working on, trying to get a return here. And I get all that because I've been in places like that. And it just lets me know what people prioritize. And I'm not in the business of forcing anyone to prioritize anything, begging, twisting arms, all of that. All I can do is let you know that for me, this takes precedent. For the people that I serve, this takes precedent. It doesn't mean you shut your whole business down. I work with people where essentially what I'm doing is helping them build another arm of their business. So they're working with other people to build, their individual or their coaching side or whatever the case may be. They're doing that. But they also recognize that as I'm doing this, I also want to get some large fish in the door. And so this is what I'm prioritizing in addition to building and cultivating what I have already grown. And so I want you all to understand that as well. This is not, I don't do a either or type of situation. Full transparency. I run both sides of my business too. I have individual clients. I have a group program that I'm running right now. And I also have a 6-figure contract that I know that I will be closing very soon. You can do it too. And I have all the things, all the personal things as well. And I do it. So it's time. That may not be a word for everybody, but that was just on my heart. The word for everybody is it's time. Nothing is off the table. You need to have the right strategy. You need to have the proper mentorship, and you need to have the space to grow, the space to be challenged, the space to tap on folks doing the same things and be able to grow. One of my clients right now is experiencing some challenges because her main client was affected by a lot of these programs and things that are happening right now. So even in the comments, I was like, what's the skill sets that we want to focus on right now? And I said, hey, here's who we need to target. The skill sets don't change. What's one of the things, one of those comments, what they won't do, someone else will. And in this context, what I'm saying is what these programs and all these people saying they won't do, somebody else will. I just need to go where they are prioritizing me, and not quit and not give up and not fall into the trap, and not even fall into the trap of putting it off because I'm so busy and I've got all these things going on and I'm trying to get this and I'm trying to get that. No, time is now. Because what's going to happen, and I even shared this last year before all these programs, got dissipated, is that if we aren't using it, if we aren't showing that, hey, they've set aside this program, like these contracts and all these things for us, we're not going after it, they'll kill it. I said that last year. So not to say that we weren't using it, but just also understanding the fragility of putting your eggs in one basket in general. You got to be able to move. You've got to be able to move. You've got to get what you need. Some people are, still stuck at step 1, haven't even taken step 1. And I'm like, now I did 20 pieces of content on this. Why aren't we moving? Because you don't need more content. You don't need more tips. You don't need more tricks. You don't need more strategies. You don't need none of that. You need to get your tail in one of these programs and get some support so that you can move forward, because that's where the direction is going to happen. And if it's not for you right now, that's okay. But I know for many of you, you've been watching, you've been taking notes, you've been getting lives, you've been getting resources, and it's time to make a decision on what you want to do. It's February. It is February. First month already down. Where have you gotten from here? Famous question that we always hear. I'm going to circle back. When what? I'm calling you out today. Make a decision. Let's get it. It's opportunities out here for you with your name on it. Are we going to let mediocre Mike, and I shouldn't have said Mike because that's my husband's name, mediocre Matt, that's what we'll say, we'll call him mediocre Matt. Are we going to allow him to continue to get up here and do these boring draw trainings that don't do anything for anybody, get a lot of rah rah shish kumbah, but no transformation? When your live videos that you do for free change lives, when the strategies that you've given people have changed lives, when the work that you have done has changed lives, but it's only in this bubble. What if that bubble just got a little bigger and a little bigger and a little bigger and a little bigger until your impact was just so vast? All the voices who are meant to hear you, whether that is you going into a corporation, doing a training, and just being an example for people. Last story that I'll tell, and then I'll get off of this. I remember when I was in corporate America and just struggling, again, climbing and when I say struggling, I mean having personal success or having visible success, but inside feeling empty. That was my struggle. I would get promotions, I would get raises, I would get to do all these things on the outside, but felt empty on the inside. I remember going to leadership programs or workshops or something like that, and just seeing someone who looked like me doing entrepreneurship, which was something I was passionate about, which you're not going into companies to tell people how to lead, but just being an example, showing people a strategy, helping people uncover something about themselves. Those programs kept me going at a time where I felt like, what am I doing? Why am I here? Why does this not feel like what it was supposed to feel? Having people to come in their gift and their zone of genius to help me changed everything. So even though we may feel, angst or like, where do I fit into corporate and all of that? You got to understand there are people in these organizations, just like there are people online that you're serving or your clients now. There are people inside organizations that need your impact as well. And you have to go meet them where they are. I don't know about you, but I treat my business like a ministry, not in terms of being, a nonprofit or anything like that, but in terms of everything that I'm doing is meant to serve. I need to go where the people are. One of the things that I ask in the morning is, who am I meant to serve today? Show me who needs to hear my voice today. Through this live, who needs to hear my voice today so they can be changed? Who needs to hear something that unlocks them? And so even in corporations, I'm going where the people need me. How can I show up in this space to change even one person? So it's bigger than the money. It's bigger than the impact. It's bigger than the logos. It's about changing lives. It's bigger than the notoriety. It's bigger than the social media pictures. It's bigger than the stage pictures. It's impacting lives. And so no, it's not off the table. It's required. Get it done. Get what you need. The resources are all around you. If you're here, if you're listening to me, you should be moving. And if you're not, you need to get moving. That is my charge to you. All right. So I'm going to make an offer to you because I, again, believe that if this resonated with you, you need to have a space where you can get activated, where you can get the mentorship and you can get all the things that I shared with you today. So I have many ways to work with me. And there is no page, there is no library of services and all of that. I've shared different things like our Get Corporate Clients Now program, our VIP days, books, all the things. But there are so many more smaller things that I've done with people just based upon what they needed. My VIP day typically did not go like this, but it was very successful. I helped the client be able to get registered in the government in SAM.gov today, along with a slew of other things. But I never knew that that was a need until she asked for it. And so I'm not going to invite you into a specific offer today because what you need may not be packaged in my community or in my program or in a VIP day. I'm just going to invite you to apply to work with me and let's see what it is that you need. and let me guide you to what we have to be able to support you in that. My work is all about how do I help you take what you have, turn it into something that you can offer to corporations, government, schools, universities? And how do you create the message that clearly speaks to what it is that you do, what you bring, and why corporations should work with you? I have extensive experience in what they buy, and I'm currently in the space to know the connection points. I stand in the gap between you and corporations, and I fill that gap for you and for them. And I show you exactly what you need to get set up and how to carry a conversation from interest to close contract. That is what I do. The way I do it, many different ways. And so I invite you to have a conversation with me to learn how I can support you and make a decision on how you would like to be supported in this season to get corporate contracts. So this is not just an informational or, coffee chat. This is a real conversation where we look at what you have, what you need, and work together to find a solution for you to move forward now, not in 2 months, not next year, now. So if that is you, I will invite you to jump on over to our application page. It is kirstenjallen.com/WWK, which I will put here in the chat. I know sometimes it doesn't show up on Facebook, but the link to it is also inside of my profile. You'll see that there. And if you can't find it, DM me, WWK, and I will shoot you the link for the application. Now, once you do that, you'll answer some questions. You'll tell me a little bit about your business, what you're looking to do, all the things, what financial situation you're in right now. And based upon that information, my team and I will review it. If you're approved for a conversation, we'll have a talk and just be very open with one another. It's no pressure. It is again, I'm not forcing anyone to do anything. I just want to be able to illuminate the path and guide you along the fastest path to be able to get to success. And so that's what we're going to cover in that conversation. If there is a fit, I will make an offer for you to join into one of our services. You will make a decision of how you want to move forward, and we will go from there. All right. So link is kirstenjallen.com/WWK, or you can DM me WWK for the link. And you apply for it, and we'll see if you're a good fit for us to move forward. All right. So with that being said, for those who are taking the step saying, it's time. Let me see what do I have to do? Go and get your application in first. And then for those of you who are still, on the fence or maybe working through some things, nothing wrong with that. God bless you. I am still rooting for you. I am still praying for you and believing that if this is something on your path that is needed, this is something you're being called to, that you will get the support you need at the juncture in which you need it. All right. Until next time, we will be back here Wednesday, 4 p.m. for another topic. I look forward to speaking to those who are ready to say now is now. The time is now. Nothing is off the table. I need the support. And for everyone else, I'll see you online.